Hello, welcome. This is Lydia, and as we wait on people to start joining us, this is just to let you know that we are on time and we've just started our stream. Please let us know where you're joining from. If you're in Kigali, if you're in Mhuye, Musanze, whichever city you're on. We are happy to have you. We are happy to have you. I'm just going to do a quick countdown so that we give time for people to join. And we are very, very happy to have you. My name is Lydia, once again, and I'm a labor market matching specialist at RDB. Today we are launching Career Space. So stay on. We are just going to give ourselves a few seconds so that we can start and be ready to go. Just give me a moment. Yes. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please let us know in the comment section where you're joining from. This is Skills Rwanda, and this is my name is Lydia, and I'm joining you from RDB, the Chief Skills Office, and we're very, very happy to see you. Please let me know in the comment section where you're joining from, and we will be ready to start just in a few minutes. I'll be bringing you our panelists. Everyone is very excited for this session, and I hope you as well are very excited and having a wonderful time. So please let me know where you're joining from. If you're in Kigali, if you are in China, if you're in Chinatown, please let us know. If wherever you are, just tell us wherever you are, and we will be happy. We'll be very happy to know where you are. And without actually wasting much of the time, I'm just going to give our friends just a few minutes to get ready. And don't go anywhere. We are getting ready. Yes, we are live. If you're following us on YouTube, if you're following us on Facebook, that's Skills Rwanda. Please let us know where you're from, where you're joining from. Actually, please let us know. We're very, very excited. Today we're launching Career Space. This is the beginning of many, many interactions that are going to help you in your career journey. So just in a few seconds, I'm about to introduce to you our wonderful guests, our wonderful panelists. I'm sure there are some people that you didn't see on the flyer that you're going to be seeing today. So just stay with me, don't go anywhere. And just to remind you once again, my name is Lydia Ingabire, and I'm coming to you from RDB Chief Skills Office. I'm a labor market matching specialist, and I'm very excited that you're here. Please comment, share some love. And so now, without so much time, I would like to welcome my co-host, and that's going to be Norbert Karemera. He's also from RDB. Norbert, please say hello to our fellow people who are watching from everywhere.
Hello, good afternoon. You can join us this lovely afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Wherever it's abroad or it's here in Rwanda, we're happy to have you here. And thank you very much, Lydia, for that warm introduction. Exciting times ahead, I tell you. And today we're looking at how to create an outstanding resume. I hope you're with us.
Great. Thank you so much, Nobat. Thank you so much for coming in. I can see we do have Jimmy. Jimmy is joining us from Jersey, Great Britain. Happy to be here. Welcome, Jimmy. We're happy to see you. And we also have Chen D. Chen D is from Kigali. Chen, thank you for joining us. And before I go any further, I do have a very special person to welcome. And that is none other than our very own Chief Skills Officer, Mrs. Didi Elodie. Welcome, CSO.
Hello. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, co-host Norbert, and thank you, panelists. We're so happy to be launching Career Space today, and we're so happy to be having you on this space. We'll be having many of these series. The first one is how to build a really nice resume, an attractive resume that shows all your competencies. And we'll be having different other series for you frequently. We won't tell you how many times. We'll keep you very suspicious on that. But over back to you, Lydia.
Thank you so much, CSO. And I do have another special guest that you didn't know was coming. We're going to welcome Abdu. Abdu is from the Chief Skills Office as well, and is going to be here as our subject matter expert, also to let us know what Chief Skills Office does, and we'll be complementing in the discussion. Welcome, Abdu.
Well, thank you very much, Lydia. I'm happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. That is
Lydia.
Abdu. And yes.
Let me know when is the right time to introduce a bit about the career space before you go ahead and start.
Absolutely. We're going to I'm going to bring on our panelists, and after our panelists, my co-host will tell us what career space is, and then our own CSO will tell us why this initiative is really important and what it is here to do. So I'm going to welcome Vivian. Vivian is an HR specialist, a talent acquisition specialist from NFT Consult. Welcome, Vivian.
Thank you very much, Lydia. The excitement is rubbing off very well. I'm so glad to be here. I work with NFT Consult as a talent acquisition. NFT mainly deals in HR solutions. It's from recruitment, money writing, managed services for you.
Okay, I think we're having a fuzz from Vivian, but we'll come back to Vivian. We're going to welcome Rose. Rose, welcome.
Hello there. I'm also happy to be around with you. I'm Rose, as she said. I'm the HR director from Save the Children. And Save the Children is an NGO that works in humanitarian and development area in Rwanda. And we have many activities that are toward improving and saving children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rose. Just to go back to our lovely people in the chat, we have Françoise, she's all the way from Iowa, USA, and we have Noella from Kigali, she's very happy to be here, and we have Teogene from Rwanda, I think it's all over Rwanda. So tell us where you're from and we will highlight it. And thank you so much. Now, without so much wasting time, I'll have my co-host, Nobat, to tell us what is Career Space.
Thank you very much, Lydia. So what is Career Space? Career Space essentially is an initiative launched by the RDB Chief Skills Office and will consist of a series of interactive webinar sessions. These sessions will host an array of different experts like you see already here. We have 3. And these experts will provide information on labor market trends, but also give career guidance tips like today to help individuals compete and position themselves well within the Rwandan labor market. and thus increase the chances of employability among the Rwandan youth. These sessions will be held bi-weekly and will be tailored towards all players within the labor market. So we're looking at job seekers, graduates, recruitment agencies, employers, career guidance advisors, and employment service centers, just to name a few. And just like today, and just like Lydia had told you, these sessions will be broadcasted on Skills Rwanda Facebook page, as well as the Skills Rwanda YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing you at more sessions like this. Thank you very much, Lydia. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Norbert. Thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. Right now, I'm not going to take so much time, but I'm very, very excited to welcome our very own CSO to give us some opening remarks. Tell us why the Chief Skills Office of all initiatives decided that we're going to be here virtually. Welcome, CSO, and please, you can now go ahead. The mic is yours. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
yeah, we can hear
absolutely.
you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you, Norbert. Thank you to our panelists, Vivian and Rose. We're very delighted to be having you all here today with us. Greetings to all of you. My names are Didier Elodie Lucera. I'm the Chief Skills Officer at Rwanda Development Board. And it's really my privilege to welcome you all today to this career space. It's the first series of many more. Where we had this idea because we believe that many graduates and even many young professionals need tips on how to get into the labor market. And we thought we would be having different sessions like these ones to help you on different tips that could get you to the right opportunities based on your talents. So Rwanda Development Board, through the Chief Skills Office, has the mandate of promoting and basically approaching the skills development and employment promotion ecosystem. We want to do a lot of work in terms of supporting private sector development, but also public sector development in terms of capacity building. And the Chief Skills Office, what we do is we provide oversight in terms of skills development and employment promotion. We are the apex body that coordinates these relevant stakeholders in the skills development and employment promotion ecosystem. We recently developed a strategy which guides a lot of the work we do. And this strategy is called the National Skills Development and Employment Promotion Strategy. There are three main pillars. One is on skills development, on employment promotion, and also on the third pillar on matching. And this specific intervention we're having today, Career Space, falls under the matching. And so we hope that it will be useful to you as we thought of having it. Next, we want to explain that this virtual career guidance program really aims to effectively communicate the labor market tools available to Rwandans, but also Rwandans living abroad, and both job seekers and job creators, to help you find job opportunities here in the country. Not only job opportunities, but even entrepreneurship opportunity. You may be an entrepreneur who's looking for different opportunities in the workplace, and we believe these series can get you closer by sharing with you tips regarding the labor market, useful information that you may use and consider, but also bring in different experts who can speak to you on this particular topic. So for today, we have Vivian and Rose, and we're looking forward to learning a lot from you. Over the course of this program, you'll also learn about the different interventions of the Skills Office, what we're trying to implement in terms of tools and systems. We have different tools in the Skills Office, like the Kora Job Portal, which is a tool that we recently developed to get you closer to a job opportunity. This is a platform where you could find jobs, and it could link you to different opportunities, such as work, but also trainings and any other entrepreneurship opportunity. So we're looking to upgrade the version of Quora very soon, and we hope that you could also make much use of it. Additionally, you'll be provided with practical career development information and resources to help you become competent in your specific areas of expertise. And we're very much looking forward to an interactive session. Please feel free to ask any questions or give us any more ideas of what subjects you would like us to focus on. Get ready to learn, get ready to be challenged and to be inspired. And once again, I won't take too much time because we're more excited to hear about the experts and from our hosts and co-hosts. So back to you, Lydia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elodie. Thank you very much for those remarks. We are very excited. I mean, I can't even help myself. I'm very happy. But I would like to acknowledge the people who are joining us. Please, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. But we're just starting, so hold your questions. Hold your questions because our experts are going to be here and they're going to be explaining to us. So without wasting so much time, I'm going to let's first see who's here. We have Grigol, congratulations. This was a very much needed session. Yes, we believe it was very much needed and thank you very much. Someone saying, good initiative, great. I'm glad you're finding it educative. So I'm going to welcome our very first panelist, and I know she is ready to share with us information that we really need to hear. And just a reminder, today we're talking about how to write a very outstanding resume. So stay put. If you had troubles writing a resume, I feel you. I've been there. I've been to the end of job seeking and being tired of writing a resume and not knowing actually where to put what. So, and I've actually also been on the other end of a recruiter where you get very frustrated because you can't find the words that the person is using, even though when they have the skills. So we want to clarify that. These are examples that you'll be using to help you get the best of your resume out there. So I want to very much welcome our very own Vivian from NFT. She has a working experience of over 5 years. So she's seen more resumes than I have seen. So it's very exciting to hear from you, Vivian, and welcome to the stream. The mic is all yours.
Thank you very much, Lydia. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here. Maybe for those who aren't there at the start, my name is Vivian Kabanyana. I work with NFT Consult. I'm one of the talent acquisition specialists, which means I look at CVs a lot. It's part of my job. And I am more than honored and excited to share some of the insights on the things that we look out for when we're looking at those CVs. What NFT does is it's a consulting company in HR. Part of what we do is recruitment, but we also do managed services. But for the purposes of today, what I'll focus on is CV writing. How can you write a good CV? What are the common mistakes that people make? And how can you write your CV in a way that you would be selected in the next job that you apply for? So I'll be sharing my screen in just a moment. If you can just confirm that you can see my screen. Lydia, are you there?
Yes, I do see your screen. And again, just to remind our viewers that the reason why we even have PowerPoint presentation, we want to make these sessions as practical as possible so that you don't say, I had them speak about it, but I didn't see it. So we actually even have presentations just to make sure that you see it, you hear it, and then you do it.
Correct.
Over to you, Vivian.
Thank you. And okay, if I may start with the purpose of why we think it's very important to know skills on how to write a CV. So first of all, a CV is the first representation of you before a client meets you. Leave alone where maybe you've worked with somebody and they know you. But if this person doesn't know you, this is the first representation of you. And with that at the back of your mind, you have to think that, what do I want this person to know so that they select me? And so those are part of the things that we're going to talk about. Two people can have the same experience, but the way they lay it out is going to be different, and one may be selected and the other is not selected, not for any other reason, but because of the layout of their CV. This includes the content, it includes experience, personal information, it includes how you put it out. In terms of formatting, editing, are you organized or are your margins all over the place? Some people think that that's not important, but for an employer who's looking at this, a CV says a lot about you, right? It's the same as reporting. I usually love giving an example of two organizations might receive funds, right? From, let's say, USAID. And then when the job is done, these two give reports. And then USAID has to decide who should we, let's say they're limited funds, who should we give the funds next? Guess the person that they're going to select. The person who brought it out in their report very strongly that what they did was very impactful on the community. But the only way that they can do that, since they are not on ground, is by looking at the report. So take the CV to be your own personal report. It says so much about who you are, what you do, and what you're capable of doing, right? And I can only, before I interview you, I have to look at your CV. And I can only know that if you write a good CV that convinces me. Okay, so that's the first objective of this session. It's which I've laid out. It's the purpose of CV writing. The second thing we'll look out is the actual contents of the CV, the structure. What should it include? How should it be laid out? What comes first? What comes second? And the last part we'll look at is the necessary and unnecessary information on a CV. Some people tend to put information that is absolutely irrelevant to the employer, and it ends up making a very long CV for no good reason. And just to mention, a good CV is usually 2 to 3 pages. You're not trying to clump everything you have into that CV. 2 to 4 pages should be able to capture the information. And if you're a person who has a lot of experience, you're going to find that some of it is not relevant. If you have, let's say, 16 years of experience, there is no point in you saying in an internship that you did 16 years ago. So you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're laying out should be relevant. Yeah. So part of this I've already covered, which is, what do CVs reveal about us? The experience. You're telling the employer, look, I have worked at this place for this certain period of time, and these are the roles and responsibilities that I have performed. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of reading the job description. There are times that maybe you're stranded, especially for people who have just graduated. You're going to find yourself in a space where you maybe don't have that much experience, right? And you're wondering, what should I put in that space? We're also going to talk about that. The other thing is the skills and achievements. You want to, again, look at the job description. What skills are required? There's some skills that you may have, but are not necessarily relevant. And all this I'm saying is to help you keep it short. Because a short CV, 10 pages, when you have to look at about 20 or 30 or 40 CVs, is going to be very exhausting. And as an employer, they might miss out on the relevant things that you talked about, probably because you put them at the bottom page because your CV is too long. And then it tells us about your career aspirations. It sort of lays out which part or which industry are you more comfortable in, which industry are you working in, and then loyalty. If somebody keeps changing their job every 6 months, somebody is going to question their loyalty. They're going to wonder what makes you move from in 1 year you find, or in 2 years you find you've worked 4 or 5 positions. Somebody is going to wonder your loyalty to the company. Aren't they going to just have you for a short period, then you leave? Now, before I move to the next session, I talked about looking at the job description. Like I said, unless maybe you are a fresh graduate and maybe you're trying everywhere, so maybe you're throwing your CV in the database bank of NFT, or you're just applying for different jobs, then maybe this doesn't apply so much. But if you have narrowed down a specific job that you want to do, okay, take time to look at the job description. People make mistakes of saying, okay, since maybe I'm a finance manager, I'm just going to throw my CV for whatever finance manager there is. But remember, the companies are different, the structure is different, the leadership experience needed is different, the people you're reporting to are different, and the roles and responsibilities are definitely different. So for everything that I talk about today in CV writing, bear it in mind to align it to the job description. Sometimes you'll find a finance manager in NGOs, the experience that they're looking for is not necessarily the same experience that is being looked for in a private company. Some things are similar, but some things are different. Now, by realizing that, when you write the roles and responsibilities, you will know what to bring at the top and what to bring at the bottom. And if they're very specific on the things that they want, please make sure that they shout out on your CV. If they say they want somebody CPA qualified, make sure that certification is there. If they say they need somebody SCCA qualified, make sure that that aspect is it's screaming out, so that as I look through the first and second page of your CV, I should be able to tell that this is the kind of person that I'm looking for. The other thing that I do in CVs that I write, especially if you have many years of experience, is include a table. Tables are neat and they show details in a very simple manner. So if you have very many years of experience and you're not going to be able to put all details, just have a table showing the date, showing the organization, and showing the position. Now, when you do that, it shows me that, oh, this person has worked at Save the Children. This person has worked at RDB as this. This person has been an HR, they have experience in HR, they have the experience in administration. So that table is able to tell me who you are before I even go to the details. So now when I switch and go to the details, now I know the areas that I'm interested in, okay? So there are some that you might not necessarily include the details for, but I will know that you have put them there. Yeah, but I can't emphasize enough. Look at the job description. Looking for a job is a job in itself. Somebody said, and some people tend to overthrow it. Or you find your CV was updated like 2 years ago. I'm sure there is a lot that you have changed during that period. Okay. Then now we are going to the part of what are the parts and aspects of a CV. These are the very important parts that a CV has to entail. There is the personal information, there is the experience, and there is the education background. On the personal information, use the names. We don't want confusion. The names on your education documents are supposed to be the same names that you have. Remember to put phone numbers. I've had an experience of people writing their CV, they completely forget the phone numbers, they completely forget the email. Even if you have applied or sent me an email, it's going to, what I do while I'm shortlisting, I open the CV, I see if it's good enough, I download it to a certain database. So now imagine I'm looking through your CV in a certain database and I know your name, but I can't see your number. I can't call you. For me to get your email, I have to go back to my emails and search for your name. Somebody can even easily forget. They can say, oh, I'll search for their name later. So please do not forget to write your email. And then you have to put a professional bio. A professional bio is basically talking about your skills. I'll leave that to my colleague, my fellow panelist, Rose, who will talk about what a professional bio should look like and what it entails. The other thing, another mistake that's very irritating that people do, emails are free of charge completely. The only thing you need is data. Please do not have your email as vivlove 2010 or 123. Like, there's some emails that are so unprofessional that even when somebody receives it, they wonder, am I sure that I want to take this person on? So make sure you have a professional email. You can use your first name, dot your second name, or use your initials, Vivian.k at, don't put dates, don't put birthdays, don't, just keep it plain and professional. And also when you're saving your CV, please make sure that you save it in your full names. People have a tendency of saving their CVs or sending their CVs that are saved with numbers. You find it's 5, 6, 8, 10, and you're wondering, what is this? It doesn't have a name. It doesn't have, like, I can't even tell who that person is until I open the CV. It's very unprofessional. So that's something on that side that you should do. And also, before I forget this, if you're sending your email, your CV to someone, please, 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 whether they have told you to send it or whether you're applying, make sure that you do it correctly. Say, dear so and so, please find that, first greet that person, introduce yourself, you're so and so, and you are interested in this position. Please find attached my CV. Some people have a tendency of, if I tell you, please send me your CV, you just forward it. I can't see the name of the CV correctly because it's probably some numbers. You haven't introduced yourself. I work on different positions. I don't know which position you're applying for. So that's a side note for you to remember. Education background. Please keep it chronological. Put your master's if you have your master's, okay? Put the university, the degree, that's undergrad, and then put the certifications. Certifications can actually be a different tab, but put in other words, put the most recent at the bottom. So you have to put the degree that you did. You put the name of the university you attended, and you put the year in which you attended it. Please do not put your primary school that you went to and high school that you went to. That is usually for high school, that is usually done by fresh graduates. But if you have a degree, then it's best that you just put your degree, because the interest is going to be in what field have you studied in, and maybe what it shows me the relevance of your course to the job that you're applying to. Okay. Then the third thing is the work experience, which is very important. And how you lay this out is very important as well. We're going to look at examples of good CVs and poorly written CVs. Somebody can have very good experience, but if you don't lay it out in an appropriate manner, you're going to find that somebody loses interest in reading your CV. So put it in such a way that you put your role, the organization, your position, and then your experience. The other thing, internships are experience. People tend to send CVs, especially fresh graduates, where they just put the education and there is no experience, because they're not regarding internship as experience. They're not regarding voluntary work as experience. Yeah. There's some elements that are subjective. What this means is you may include them or you may not include them. The date of birth. Unless, and again, my emphasis goes back to the job description. You have to look at the job description and see if these things are required. Some employers specifically say you have to include your references. Some say you have to include your photo. But if it's not said, then these are subjective. The date of birth, a photo. I'll speak more details on the references a little bit later. The place of birth, the religion, hobbies and interests, your weight, your height, and your health. These are things that you can add, but they're not necessary to add. And I always tell people the reason that if they're not requested, you're better off not putting them, is they may create bias against you. For example, the date of birth. If they haven't said that they want people within this age bracket, somebody might see your CV, and as soon as they see your age, they disregard you as you're either too old or too young, right? And it's harder to dismiss somebody that you have seen and have been convinced. Yeah. So it's best if you don't put it if it's not required. Your photo. Unfortunately, some people may also disregard you on this basis. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. So if you do not want any kind of bias, please keep away from this, and unless they are not required, or unless they are required, or unless they are working within your favor. If you think by being young or a bit older it will work in your favor, then by all means add it. But otherwise, these things are very subjective. You may add them or not. So going back to the point of references. References may be added or not. But at the same time, unless you are a person of high expertise, you're very confident of yourself in the job market in a certain industry, then you may, if you don't want your references to be there, you may just inform them. References will be provided at request. Okay, that is very okay. But it's not a bad thing, but somebody may wonder, if you only have 1 or 2 years of experience, why won't you put your references? Okay, professionally, when it comes to ethics, employers are supposed to request for your consent before they ask for references. Unfortunately, in some circumstances, we found where people, it may have happened to you where maybe the employer contacts your references without your consent. It's a very unfortunate situation. If you want to avoid that, you may put your previous references and not those at your current workplace, and you inform that if they need those at your current workplace, it will be done at your consent if you have been approved for the job, and that's the last stage. Okay, but otherwise references are subjective, but it's better to put them, especially if you're really seeking for a job and if you're still at a lower position within the market. But if you're an expertise, then your CV sells itself, even your name sells itself. So people will definitely come looking for you. There is the weight, the height, the health. All these can only be added really if they're required. Okay. Now we're moving to a very interesting part that talks about what not to include. People tend to include very many things in their CVs. First of all, they make them long, and then secondly, they come off as odd. Examples are ethnic identity, the number of children, the parents, especially in Rwanda, I find the parents' name to be very common for some reason. I don't know if it was once a requirement, but it's not now. So please do not include your parents' name, your spouse's name, the hobbies, where you were born, the sexual orientation, your salary, your negative experience, your political affiliation. These are things that you absolutely should not include in your CV, okay? Unless it's a form that you're sent and they're requesting you to include them. Otherwise, it just comes off as very odd and making your CV long for no good reason while missing out other relevant information. Now, this is specifically for fresh graduates. If you have no experience, formal working experience, There are other things that you can include on your CV that can make you stand out. Examples are, if you have, let's say you are in university, and if you're at university and you're not doing any of these things, I do advise you to please join these clubs and be able to do something. It could be present your volunteer work as experience, okay? Because it shows that you're actually doing something. You're not idle and sitting around to finish school and be able to be part. And I know there are so many clubs at universities. It could be the AIDS Club, it could be Rotaract, it could be, there's so many. So find that experience and write it in the same manner as the former experience. Write it as volunteer experience, then you put the organization, you put the position, you start with the date, and then you put your responsibilities within that. So volunteer work is very good, and internships. If you've done internships, that is work. Some people tell you, I haven't done anything, and you ask them, okay, have you been part of groups? Are you part of a church group? Are you part of a university group? And they tell you yes. That is experience. So please present it as much as that. Okay. So these are the things that how you present your CV generally, right? You highlight your experience, make sure it aligns to the job description. If you're applying for a specific job, make sure, but don't lie. But if you have done something and it's within the job description, please, please, please make sure it's highlighted within your experience. Show your personal attributes and achievements. These are your skills. These are who you are as a person. Now, for different positions, they require different things. For an HR, for an HR professional, they will probably need somebody who's an effective listener. For a finance person, they will need somebody who pays attention to detail. So those are some of the things that you may include in your CV, and use different words. Even as you're highlighting your experience, don't say develop manuals, develop plans. There's so many words that you can play around with. Thank God for the new era. We have Microsoft Word. There is that synonym when you right click. It gives you synonyms. There is Google. Find different ways of changing the wordings of your CV so that it doesn't sound monotonous. Okay. Then you have to show your education, definitely, and any related training or any related certifications. Make yourself attractive, interesting, and worth considering. How is this done? Make sure your CV is neat. Make sure the information that is required in the job description is very well highlighted within your CV. That is the only thing that makes this CV interesting. Does it look good? Can I read it? Can I get the information? Can I read the information as fast as I can? Yes. Does this person have the skills that we need? Yes. And then make the CV short. We say 2 to 4 pages. There is no need for a 10-pager. If I look at your 2, 3, 4 pages, I'm able to tell if you're fit for this job or not. And if I need any further details, you'll be able to come for an interview, or you can say we can ask for a more detailed CV. And do not oversell yourself. Do not talk about things that you're actually not sure that you can do, because you'll come to the panel and people will ask those questions and you will fail to answer to them. As I was saying, some of the words you can use to describe responsibilities: developing, planning, implementing, facilitating, producing. Again, these are so many words that you can play around with. We have Google, we have Word. You can look into that. And then the words describing personal abilities. Again, remember that this should align to the job that you're applying for. If they're looking for a marketing person, your personal abilities that you want to reflect are going to be different from if they're looking for an auditor, for example. Okay. Membership and interest, these are the things I talked about. If you're a fresh graduate, that you can look into. There is the Rotary Club, debate teams, member that's member of Rwanda Law Society, but that's for a professional who has already studied that. but there are very many different things that you can look at. If you're not giving back in terms of work, you should be giving back to the community. It's also a good thing for yourself, but also for the CV. Now, we have talked about the layout, the experience, and so on. Now we're going to talk about the red flags, which is our last section. I hope I am in good time. I think I am. Yeah. So we're going to talk about other things to look out for besides experience and education and bio and so on. Please, there is something called spelling check on it's on Word. If you're writing your document in Word, once you've completed writing your CV, please do a spell check. Okay, look out for any typos. The font, usually the generally accepted fonts to use are Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman, but people also use Georgia. Okay. Now, for the font, please make sure that it's normal. Don't make it italic. Don't make it anything fancy. Just make it plain. Okay. The sizes that are generally acceptable are 10 to 12. You don't want something too small that's unreadable. Some people have CVs and the size is so small. And usually I think what they're trying to do is maybe make the CV smaller, shorter, but I don't think that's the way to do it because somebody has to keep zooming. Instead, I would rather you cut it short and have only relevant information there. Grammatical mistakes and poor punctuation. And this goes in line with uniformity. Your CV has to be uniform. For example, if you're looking at these pointers, okay, you see they're the same color, they're the same margin, and they're the same size. Now, you'll find some people tend to have this first one is boxed, the second one is a circle, the third one is green, and the fourth one is it starts from a different line. Make sure your margins are correct, the size is the same. That's one of actually the biggest aspects of a CV, uniformity. If you have written your experience in a certain format, make sure that all your experiences are written in a certain format. If you've used a certain font, make sure that all fonts are the same. The size is the same except for maybe the headers. But in a CV, that's not even very important. But the whole point is uniformity. If something is starting from a certain margin, then keep it that way. And those are things that people don't. Somebody has a lot of experience, but the way their CV looks is just very discouraging. And that also goes back to how organized this person is. I'm thinking if you can't even pay attention to details of your CV being laid out in the correct format, are you really going to pay attention when you're writing a report? You know, so make sure that you have these things in order. Outdated information. There is information that you don't need or you forget to change the date. Okay, like some people may write because they haven't updated their CV. They write maybe 2018 to 2020 or to date, but to date is not the job that they are currently doing. Okay, so you have to look out for that. Please put the dates for us to know when did you work on this. Missing standard information, all the information we talked about, your bio, your personal information, your experience, your education background. Make sure that all the information required is there and go back to the job description to make sure that each information they are requiring for is within the CV. And then vague titles. You're not sure what this person does. You're second guessing. If you're a consultant, say in what specific field and say the experience you have in that consultancy. Okay. And then frequent job changes. Please try to, maybe this will be talked about in another session, but try to be loyal to your employers. Don't work for 3-4 months and you're changing every time. Okay. The margins and space. You have to look at the margins and space. Everything is aligned. Margins means this. Everything starts at the same point. and spaces between the paragraphs or between the sentences. The space has to be the same. Sometimes you find somebody leaves too much space or too little space, or the space between characters is different from the ones above. So uniformity is very important. I can't stress it enough. And again, when you're writing referees, make sure that you're putting people that are available. Okay. The best way to do it is, if you are going to put somebody as your referee, please talk to them first. If you're applying to different jobs, tell them, I'm applying for different jobs and I'm putting you as a referee. And please inform them. It's also very, it's very upsetting when somebody keeps receiving calls for jobs that they didn't even know that you'd put them as referees. So inform them and make sure that you're putting available referees, because they're the only people who are going to be able to talk about you. Okay. And people have a tendency of putting referees of people that they're not even working within the same department. Like I'm let's say an auditor, but I'm putting a salesperson as my referee. Okay, you need to put somebody who will talk about you in a professional manner, can talk about you in terms of the things that you do, in terms of your performance, in terms of your delivery. It doesn't hurt to put somebody that you work with, even if it's not the same department, but they can't be the only referee. At least 2 referees should be people that you work directly with. Okay, and food for thought. CVs reveal a great deal based on their overall look, visual presentation. That's what I look like, what it looks like. Okay, that it's like a first impression, but this time in terms of a CV before we even go to meet you in person. Some said that the structure of a CV, or lack thereof, reveals the working of the candidate's mind. This is like the things I talked about. How can you tell me you're a person who pays attention to detail, yet you can't even see that there is inconsistencies in the way you write CVs? How can you tell me that you're organized, yet there is too much space between some characters or paragraphs, and it's not the case with the others? Okay, so it says a lot about you, and that is the importance of CV writing. It's who you are. It's me getting to know you before I actually meet you. It's you standing a chance of selection before I even see your face, before I even call you for an interview. Thank you very much. I will go over to Lydia. This is our CV banking at NFT that I will probably get a chance to talk about later. Lydia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much, Vivian, for walking us through. Hope everyone, you're able to get what a good CV looks like and what really is a bad CV. So write a good one, don't write a bad one. So we're going to,
Yes.
yeah, Vivian, we're going to get one question. We have a question, I think, Norbert, if you can get us to read this question for us.
This question is from Nicholas, and he's asking, what do you suggest about including on your professional achievements? So I think he's asking, do you put your professional achievements onto your CV? Do you not? What can you tell us about that, Vivian?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. On professional achievements, it's something that you can include or not include. It's not mandatory, but it sells you out very well if you include it. On professional achievements, you include things that stand out. Okay, please don't tell us that you went to school. We know you went to school. We know you got a job. Don't tell us those as professional achievements. It has to be something, and again, it has to be relevant to the job that you're actually applying for. Okay, if and it works very well for salespeople. if in a certain year they achieved targets or they went above and beyond the targets that were expected, and they're applying for a certain job in sales, that's going to work out very well for them. So achievements can be added or not, but make sure it's something that stands out. Don't be petty. Putting your everyday responsibilities as your achievement.
Okay, thank you. There you have it, Nicholas. Make it relevant and don't make it petty. Make it something that is worthwhile. I think that's a very good answer you've given him. The next one.
So we do have another one.
Taojen, here he's saying some people use summaries on their CVs. Then is that a good thing or not? I think that's in line with the bio which you had mentioned, but maybe you can elaborate on that.
In terms of summary, it's actually a good thing. And Rose will talk more about how to write a professional bio and what it should include. So I will leave that to her session. But it's actually a good thing. But it has to be big, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vivian, and thank you so much, Norbert. I think we're going to move on to our next presenter, and Miss Rose is going to walk us. I know someone here asked if they missed the professional bio, so the summary. I think again it was Nicholas. Professional bio, perhaps no, you didn't miss out much. It's right. This is the right moment that we're going to talk about a professional bio. Where do you use a professional bio? What is a professional bio? Why do you need one? So, and Miss Rose from Save the Children International, she's going to talk to us about that. Miss Rose, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Vivian, for the great presentation. I also learned few tips on the way. As much as Vivian explained what it's needed for a CV, a resume, there is this part that we call a bio, and I'm going to take you through what is a bio and why you need a bio. So as much as you are writing a great resume, it's necessary while applying for a job to have a great professional overview of summary of you, showing what drives you, showing your professional accomplishment, your experience and skills and competencies. So what is it important that reside in the way of you presenting yourself without falling into bragging, lying, or just being too much? Without having a long professional career, your bio can still bring out what is good in you and what will interest the readers or people that will give you that job that you're looking for. But also a bio can be used for social media. Nowadays, we have many platforms where we can either apply for a job, we can be bloggers, we can have our business website, and you use the same kind of information in the bio to describe yourself. So internet is full of tips and examples of the perfect bio, but what is relevant depends with the platform that you are going to use. So for the resume and CVs, you put it together with what goes on LinkedIn. For the website, your professional, your website for business or the company you're working for, there is also another set of criteria that you can use. So I'm going to present to show you a little bit what are the steps that you need to use. Second. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, we can.
Okay. So,
and please let us know if you don't see the screen. Again, this is a practical session and we want you to be able to see what is expected of you practically. Go ahead, Rose.
Fine, thank you. So remember, I said the resume and the LinkedIn platform, you use the same kind of bio. So your bio should go between 150 and 200 words, no more than that. Otherwise, even the platform will not give you that space. Next is the person to use when you're describing yourself. It can't be the third one or at the first one. Personally, I prefer using the third one. It looks more professional. Use your full name. Some of us have 4, 5, I don't know, nicknames. Use, as Vivian said, what is in your papers, your academic papers, and all your history. Put your full names. We have 100 of Mugishas. We have 100 of Wase. So we need to differentiate who we are talking about right now. Put a brief employment history, where you are and what you're doing, the expertise that you have or the area you're working in. Put your professional accomplishments. It can be one sentence and being very brief, but also for fresh graduates, you can put anything. Maybe you were the head of Mudugudu, or you were the captain of your sports team. This is something that is showing a bit of leadership, and maybe that is what the employer is looking out there. State your values. What drives you? On a website of organizations, we always see that there is a set of values that those organizations shows, like what they are going with, what they are living in. So you also need to have your own. Avoid to be lying and just aligning their values with yours. You already have what you were taught maybe at home by the family, the dad, your mom, what you were taught in school. So try to look into those and see what is matching with the organization you want to work for. If you don't know how to describe them, you can go on the net. There are many websites where they list them. You can pick what describe you. Remember, don't lie. Respond to the question about why do you do what you do? So I work as an accountant. Why? Because I love numbers, maybe. What do you do outside work? You can mention a little bit of one of your hobby if you still have space, or what you do outside, sports, and social activity. And to end, for the reader to keep remembering you can drop a funny sentence that will keep coming in their mind. So as I said, this is for CVs, resume, or for LinkedIn. But there is also other platforms like a website. So for the website, you can start by the same short bio explaining everything that I said above, but you need to insert a sentence that will invite the reader to go and look for more about you and the full resume in the website. You can also be creative, depends with the platform, like on Instagram or Facebook, and put emojis. It gives a nice display, but that is specific for IG and Facebook. You can throw a sentence or a quote that can also describe you. This is commonly seen on Twitter. And you need also to put a statement about your views, the views that you're expressing. This is also common on Twitter. For example, I work for Save the Children, but when I'm expressing a view out there, it does not every time needs to be aligned or expressing what Save the Children stand for. I hope I'm making sense there. This is an example of a bio of Chimamanda on her personal website. So she's starting by saying that she's Nigerian, showing her country. She also showing the publication that she did in different languages that it was translated in. She's also bringing out where the publication were done. The New Yorker, the Financial Times. This is showing how important and liked her books were. She's also showing where she were invited on TED Talk and on different other platforms. She's also showing the books that she recently wrote and the time, but at the very end, she's inviting the readers to go and check for more on her website. This is Mari Mikkel. She's a talent acquisition at Ferrara, and she's also showing something specific that I saw. She's responding to the question of why she's doing what she does. And she said on this line, the reason I like getting people excited about the things that I'm excited about. Right now, that is Ferrara Candy Company. So this is something that is standing out. And then at the end, she's putting a link, check out my humble brag and other information about herself. Next, this is a fresh graduate. She does not have a lot of experience, but she puts the university she went in, the subject that she studied, and she's also adding what she's passionate about. So don't worry, even if you are a fresh graduate, you still have things that you are passionate about, area that you want to work in, disciplines that you want to follow, and some dreams. There is a way of formatting that and putting that in your bio. And at the end, she's also putting her CV that I assume she did following Vivian's tips. And you see she's standing out. The other one and the last one that I have, this one is showing the reputable university he went in and the number of applicants and graduates that university has. So it's showing that he's a potential asset to the organization that will employ him, and he's ready to learn and to make the difference. Well, that was all from my side. Thank you. I hope I covered a bit on bio, so we can welcome question. Lydia, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rose. This was a great presentation. I hope you learned something. And if you learned something, actually, please let us know in the comment section. And before I actually go and hand it over to my co-host to tell us some of the questions, we've received some of your great questions in the chat box, and we're going to respond to those just shortly because we're getting into the moment of questions and getting direct answers and giving you directions on where to find your answers or tools again. So if I can have you, Norbert, for some of these questions that we can go over. So we have, I don't know who that is.
So this is Vivi. Vivi, should one show responsibilities assigned to each role performed? I think this is over to you, Vivian. This comes back to, I think he's asking about on your CV. Would you like to jump in there, Vivian?
Yes, certainly. So I would say yes for the roles that are relevant. And again, I can't emphasize enough relevance. If you believe that the job, the position that you held is relevant to the employer, then by all means, please include. But it does not mean that you have to put all your roles and responsibilities. Sometimes you find somebody putting like 20 roles, and it ends up making the CV longer than it should be. Stick to the ones that you know are very, very relevant. And then I said you can eliminate some positions, especially if you have a lot of experience. You don't have to put your internship, you don't have to put your first job. You can put it only if you think it's going to be relevant to the job. So try to keep it short as much as possible, but keep it relevant.
And we do have a question from
Thank you very much, Vivian.
Jackie. Yes, go ahead, Norbert.
Yeah, sorry, I was just saying, thank you, Vivian. Again, it's back to that relevance.
Yeah.
So don't put too much, don't put unnecessary things, just what is relevant. So now we have a question from Jackie. Jackie Mutoni, she's asking, when do you know you are too much while writing your CV? How do you know if you're writing too much, when you're writing your CV?
When you read it and you get bored. But anyway, if first of all you're writing too much, if your CV is more than 3 to 4 pages, okay. And then also another thing that I used to do when I would write a CV is I would read it out myself, and I would put myself in the position of the employer. That way you get to eliminate things that you're sure that they don't have to know about. So if you read it and you feel like you're running on or you're repeating the same thing, then you're probably writing too much.
Thank you very much. You hear that, Jackie? 3 to 4 pages, and read it again yourself and know that it's not too much. It's not tiring you while you're reading it.
Yeah.
Next question, please. Okay, this is from Ivan. And I think this is kind of similar to the responsibilities and also the achievements. Are awards relevant in a CV? If yes, where do they appear?
Under achievements. Or you can, or if there are many, but again, make it outstanding. Don't make it best timekeeper. I don't know, make it something relevant. But yeah, if you think you have awards that stand out and at the same time are relevant to the position, then please do add them either under awards or achievements.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's more or less the same as achievements. Okay, thank you. Next question,
Rose, do you have anything to say on this question particularly?
Oh, yes. I wanted to say that awards are relevant as much as achievement, and as much as you are going up in a leadership, you need to show your achievement, and the reader or the future employer will see what will be the added value of bringing you on. And let's say if you manage 5 to 1 person, you need to show what was the changes you brought into that team. So those fall into achievement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the other question. It's a long one.
Okay, so this is Peter. My question is, do you advise an applicant to apply for the offer where he or she doesn't have all the requirements, but have like 70% of the requirements asked? Who wants to jump in there? Rose, you want to take this?
I can try. Well, we recognize that we have a big number of job seekers than jobs that are on the market, but it is a waste of time to just drop your CV where you see you are not matching what the employer is looking for. Not only that you are wasting your time, but you are also wasting the time of those that will review them. Though there are organizations that have this specific platform where they ask job seekers to drop their CV. Then there you can put it or send it, and then the day they will have something matching what you know or you have, and then they will call you or look into your CV. That's an advice.
That's great. Vivian, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yes. I guess it also depends on what's in the 30%. Yeah. If the 70% is the biggest part of the role, of the relevant ones, then a 30% could, but 30% is a bit too high. Maybe a 20% would do. So if you think it's 20%, but it's something that's easily learnable, then I would say you can give it your shots. But like Rose was saying, there's some people who apply and they're nowhere close to that job. You're just wasting your time, and as well as the employers.
It can also be different. Sorry, sometimes there are certain positions or skills that are scarce in the country. So that 70% can work, and the 30% will be built or developed. But we have a lot of accountants, we have a lot of drivers, we have a lot of, there are certain skills that are a lot on the market already.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see, we have a question from a student, I believe.
Okay, so this is from Chen. When you suspend your studies and you came back to finish it after 1 year, can this be viewed as a reason not to take you? Vivian, you want to jump in on this one?
No, we love educated people. We love people who are educated, so no, it wouldn't be a reason. I mean, if you have past experience that works out for what you're looking for, then the 1 year gap isn't a bad thing. Yeah.
I also agree with that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Super.
Let's see if we have any other questions. I think we have a question from Aman. Go on, Norbert.
Sometimes employers ask for many years of experience, which sometimes interested applicants don't hold. What guidance can you give to such applicants? You want to come in first, Rose?
Rose.
It's a tough one.
Well, yes, it is, and I'm not going to give a right or wrong answer, but this is it. Employers need a number or a level of qualification, of experience that will allow you to perform in the job. So being below that will maybe set you on for failure. So there is also a target that the organization has to achieve. There is a revenue that organization needs to reach to. And to be able to do that, they need a number of experience. But for certain position, there is a way of explaining it or putting it out there on during the job advert that they don't need someone who is who has a lot of experience, but will learn through the way. So there are not many. We always want someone who will be ready to do the job, unfortunately, but there is other platform and other channels that help our fresh graduates to acquire experience. Thank you. Over.
Wonderful. And I think we have a question from Stella. So Stella says, in the Rwandan context, what would you recommend an applicant to submit between a resume and a CV?
That's actually a good question, a very good question. But again, it comes back to what they're asking for. Some will be specific on they want a one-pager resume, and others will be specific on they're looking for a CV. But I believe a CV shows more of what you'd of different roles and responsibilities and periods that you've held before, but just don't make it short. But some companies are very specific on a resume, one pager. So if that's the requirement, please stick to it.
Yep. Rose, do you have something to say? I think someone may have missed the difference between a resume and a CV. What's the difference? Actually, even in the Rwandan context, is it the same thing? Is it different? Is it used interchangeably? If any of you could help us understand. Yeah.
Rose, do you have something to say?
I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry.
Rosa,
Viv,
yeah.
you first.
Hello?
Hello, Viv, you first. Can you hear me? Viv?
I think we're having some internet challenges. But I think Vivian had said before that it depends on what they're asking for, on what the employer is asking for.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a CV is usually detailed. Yeah. Usually some people use it interchangeably, resume CV, but a CV usually is detailed, which is the 3 to 4 pages. Well, most people, when they say resume, they refer to a 1-pager or 2 pages at most.
Great. Thank you very much, Vivian, for that response. Let's get to the other question. If I think that's answered. And if your question is not answered, please feel free to bring it back. So we have a question from Martin. Martin says, how do I efficiently minimize my CV from 3 to 3 to 4 pages from 8 pages?
Hi,
Okay.
Martin. Yes, Rose, please go ahead.
Okay, I'll take that one. If you have an 8-pages CV, that means you have a lot of experience. So I assume, I will advise that you look at the job description and try to minimize your achievements, skills, and match them with what the job description is requesting. There, you'll be able to minimize and remove whatever experience that is not needed for that specific job.
True.
Absolutely.
Can't put it any better.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So please, like you, sometimes as a job seeker, sorry about that. I think we're having some issues. So sometimes as a job seeker, you have to put yourself in the recruiter's shoes. You know, someone is putting out a job post which requires maybe 1 to 2 persons, and they receive 500 applications, and you're here submitting a thesis paper for them to look at. Please make it like, just give the key points. keep it straight. I'm sure at 8 pages, I don't know what you're writing about. And always, so you try to make it a summary so that it's appealing to the person. You know, give someone a little bit of information, just enough for them to pick up their phone and call you and say, hey, I really loved your CV, can we talk? Instead of you giving them the entire thing, and sometimes someone just looks at it and they're like, there's no way I'm reading that. So you just have to be careful. So no, but if you can get this question for us from Adeline.
Thank you, Lydia. Sorry, my network just had a bit of a problem, but I'm back now. Adeline is busy asking us, which ways can you suggest fresh graduates to acquire the required experience? Vivian, you want to take this one on?
Yeah, sure. I talked a little bit about it in my presentation. Sometimes you probably won't get the opportunity immediately to get a formal job. And sometimes it's painful, but sometimes you have to consider internships. I've seen people turn down internships. They're like, there is no way I'm doing an internship. But believe you me, it's better having that than having nothing. So there are different volunteer groups that you can work with. It helps you, but it's also good for the CV. And make sure you're active. You're an active member. You're actually doing something that you'll be able to write down. But also take on internships and expand your network. When you expand your networks, you're probably going to find some people who are willing to help you learn. Sometimes they pay, other times they don't, but you gain some experience.
Yes,
I also just want to jump in here. In terms of like internships, RDB office has an internship program for graduates. Lydia, I'll share with you the link. You can share it on the screen for them to know. But essentially, RDB has a portal where we register interns, and when opportunities come up, the most eligible candidates will be called. And this program has been running for a couple of years. I don't know if some of you know about it. If you don't, we will share the link, and that's a great way to get started and seeking out more internships and more opportunities.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. No, but actually we will come back to it. We do have a session where we will be discussing internships, where you can find them, how to navigate the website and reach out to those. Yes, Vivian, you had something to say on this.
Yes, and I was saying fresh graduates should also look out for these companies that definitely give opportunities to fresh graduates. Make sure you don't miss that timeline. It's usually banks. I know like right now, Access Bank is recruiting fresh graduates. It's the big four auditing companies, PwC, KPMG, Ernst & Young. All those guys usually look for fresh graduates. So if you're in that field, then it's something you need to look out for.
Absolutely. And just as we keep talking about the internship aspect, I know we moved up from the CV writing, but this is also important. I think Rose, your organization does something like a professional internship. Do you want to come in and talk about that?
Yes. So at Save the Children, we provide a 1-year internship. And we normally put that on Job in Rwanda or on our website. And once the intern is with us, he or she will spend a year acquiring skills through the on-job way. And that is more on the area like child protection, finance, HR, in operations. And at the end, I'm proud to say that we have retained a number of them who got a position within Save the Children. So this is something that is working very well for us, and we are happy to continue it. But we also have the volunteer work, but this is more for those with a certain years of experience, and they come and they want to give back to the community, and they spend 3-4 months with us building capacity of our staff and also working in the organization. Thank you. Over.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that opportunity. I hope you didn't miss that. So be on the look. If you fall in those fields, human resource, finance, check out Save the Children's websites or Job in Rwanda. Job in Rwanda is very popular. So you must find something there. And then use the knowledge that we've shared in CV writing. Make sure that you stand out. Say something that absolutely helps you to stand out, so that even that internship opportunity, you get it. And then who knows, you can get retained into the company without you waiting until you gather how many years of experience. So don't waste time. Let me see if we have another question from our people. So we have Jimmy here. Nobody, if you can help us there.
Okay, Jimmy Mugabo, how are you there? Thank you for your question. Thank you very much for the session, which I believe is targeting mostly job seekers. Have you considered targeting employers in relation to good practices that will help them retain the best talents and employees? I think I can answer that one. Yeah, if you heard when we opened up, I think maybe you might have joined later. I did mention that these career space sessions will be targeting recruitment agencies and also employers alike. So we have about maybe 20 sessions this year. I'm gonna maybe Lydia can correct me, but throughout these sessions, we'll be targeting different stakeholders. This one for resume writing is more tailored towards fresh graduates and job seekers. But as time goes by, and you will see, and we will keep promoting these sessions, you will find that there will be more targeting employers and recruiters, but also even employment service centers. So just stay tuned, and you will surely get that. Lydia, you want to
and just to add on to that, these sessions are just not only for job seekers. If you're actually, even if you're an employer, and you have something to say, please let us know in the comment section. Some best practices you've used, some of the best CVs that you've seen. Let us know, what is that thing that stood out when you looked at a CV? What is that thing that excites you to do your job and bring someone on board as an employer, so that job seekers get to know your expectations. And actually, that is why here in Career Space, we do bring experts. We bring people who have been actually practicing HR, who have seen several CVs, who know what a good CV looks like and what a bad CV looks like. So this initiative is both for job seekers and employers. So employers want to know your expectations. Tell us, please. And if you are listening to us in the comment section, let us know if you're a job seeker or if you're an employer and you know an employer or an HR who would be good to have on the panel. Please drop their names and we'll reach out to them so that they can come on and share their knowledge. So moving on to the next one, we have congratulations. This is a great initiative. Thanks. Someone here was saying 1 page enough. If you're writing a resume, we say keep it short, simple, sweet, to the point. And then they can always call you. As long as you add the details, they will call you and say, I saw your resume, it was sweet, simple, and I want to learn more. I don't think it's good to overwhelm someone with information. When you've actually put on your contact, they can contact you and ask for more information if they're interested. And let's see, we have a question there. Nobody, if you can help us.
In the CV, we add a section of reference. If referees don't answer any of the employer's call or email, can this affect an applicant? This is a very good
Rose,
question.
you wanted to say something about references.
Yes, I was even reading the comments, and I saw someone called Stella saying something. It's advisable to put the reference that are aware about you looking for a job or you naming them and informing them in advance that they will be contacted. And when it can happen, sometimes the person is not in the country, we will come back to the applicant and inform him or her that we are having issues in contacting that person.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
I wanted to add something.
Let me just add.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to add something about references. I think we discussed that with Vivian earlier saying that you need to put references that are relevant to the work or the experience that you have. People that employed you, your line manager, and maybe a third person, maybe a mentor, a coach that followed you at some point. But avoid putting people that are not relevant to your experience or the skills that you have. It's a waste of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rose. Sorry, you wanted to say something,
can
Robert?
I just add something there? I think also it goes back to what Vivian had said. I think she said that you should generally have 3 referees to contact, so that if one, they can't get hold of one, there's another 2 they can possibly get hold of. So I think that's just always remember that, to have at least 3 references.
Great. We have another question from Shaka.
Okay, Shaka, thank you, Shaka Kevin. Skills acquired during internship period, for instance, team working and other, which part of the CV would someone include them, or aren't they relevant? So basically he's asking, should you include certain soft skills like teamwork as part of your CV? Vivian, you want to take this?
Yes, Adelia talked about that on the skills part. You can actually include it under skills or attributes, team worker, maybe the hard work, not hard worker, that is everyone that tends to be a hard worker. But whatever skills you've acquired, you can have a section of skills or attributes. And that would
Absolutely.
come in. Yeah.
And we have one from Stellar.
This is the last one?
He was responding.
I think this one, didn't Rose responded to this one?
He was responding actually to someone else.
Yeah,
helping
he was
us.
telling
Yes.
someone. Yeah.
Super. I'm glad that people are actually responding to their fellows. So yeah, it's good. Let's see what Twahirwasa has to say.
You said that references is on the element that may be applied or not, but I have never seen a CV without references, and it's usually unnecessary.
Yes. And what we highlighted with Rose is that if you are at a lower level, then it's very important that you put the references. But like we said, there's some employers who would tend to call the the references even before. But if you're very certain of your expertise, then I have seen people actually put references will be given upon request, and that's fine. I mean, if you're up there in the market and you're very certain of your skills. Rose?
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Great. I think we are wrapping up.
Lydia, we can take 2 more questions.
Yeah, I think this one was responded to. Right? If you have a degree, is it okay?
Yeah, this was one of the
apply?
first. Yeah, this one we covered at the beginning of the question stage, I think.
Okay, great. And then I think this is the last one.
About loyalty. What if you get opportunities more often and you happen to change jobs every 6 months? Aha. So you're a sought-out person, Leah.
Red flag, red flag, red flag. So there is a certain of stability that we are looking for into an applicant. So someone who is changing positions, not positions, changing work, organizations every 6 months, maybe something is wrong with that person. So we might not take you, as I'm sorry. But changing positions within the organization, it's showing that the person is performing very well and being trusted by that organization.
Absolutely. So as we are wrapping up the session, if your question wasn't answered, please bring it back. And when we come back for our next section, we'll let you know. And we can always go back and respond to those questions. And before I forget, we will be having many of these sessions every other Thursday at 4 p.m. So our next session is actually not next Thursday, the other Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. So on Thursday, the 29th of April, we will be covering cover letter writing. If you've ever wondered, how do I even start writing a cover letter, a motivation letter, we will be covering that in our next session, the other Thursday, on the 29th of April. So be on the lookout for that. We have great panelists. And just before we wrap up the session, I want to share a template that Vivian can talk about, or Rose can talk about, so that you see what aspects that we did discuss that have really been important for us to understand. And just give me a moment as I look for this. Just a moment. Share screen. Okay. Okay, actually, that's fine. I seem to have lost it.
Do you want me to
Let's get one question. I think, Vivian, you can share it if you have it. But in the meantime, let's respond to this one question as a last one as you upload that template, Vivian.
Okay. Muriel is asking, I would like to ask, what if the professional experience you have does not align with what you are applying for, but you have academic skills on? Can you include your can you include on your experience in your CV? I think I'll give this to Vivian.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
So she's basically asking, if you have professional experience, if they're asking for professional experience that you don't have, but you have academic skills on that matter, can you include your experience on your CV? I'm just trying to think of how you, maybe as a skill, they would add it on the skills section.
Yeah,
so
but
let's say maybe someone did finance in school, but then they haven't worked in places that have allowed them to exercise their finance skills, and now they're trying to apply for a job. They have that in the academic.
Requires experience
Yes.
in finance. I guess both are needed, and again, it depends on the level. Like if they want somebody at not that can apply maybe at entry level, but if they're looking for somebody at managerial level, even if you have that degree but you don't have the experience, then it's going to be very hard to be selected. Which comes to, again, apply for things that at least you have 80% experience in.
Great. Thank you.
I can also
I think also
add,
on this topic. Yeah, go ahead, Rose. Go ahead.
that is why it is important to apply for the job for which you have the educational background for. But that is ideal, and that is what we're advising. Sometimes you start a job because you need money. So have it back in your mind that it will be difficult for you to change and then take another direction that is matching your academic papers. But when you are already in an organization, you can have an honest conversation with your line manager saying, hey, I am in HR, but here I have papers of finance. I did finance in my degree and I would like to continue in finance. When your line manager understands that, they can direct you into that department, and you start doing what you dreamed about or what you went to school for.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As we wrap up this session, because again, we have to catch other sessions as well. This has been a very fruitful session. I want to thank very much our panelists and our viewers. If you've learned something, please tell us. Tell us, what did you learn today? What was your thing that you say, I didn't know this, but now that I know, I'm going to do better. But before we wrap up, we have something special for you, especially you who have stuck with us up to until this moment. We're going to show you a template, and Vivian is going to speak on that. Vivian?
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So this is a template. I'm going to show two templates. They're both correct. So the first thing that you have to know about a template, there's so many templates out there, but make sure that they capture all the information that we talked about. And this is one of the good templates because it shows your name, your address, your email, and your phone number. And in this space, you can write your professional bio, okay? Then it shows the experience, it shows the dates, it shows the job title, the company, and the responsibilities. And it also shows the education. And somebody who asked about the skills, this is where you can put your skills and as well as the activities. But then on this one, you can also add references, if you will, and you can also add any certifications that you may have and achievements. That is one template, and the other template that I will show is this one. Now this is the World Bank format. It shows your name, your number, your email, nationality, your bio, your education, the skills, languages, the employment record. This is if you have a lot of experience that you want to put in, but you want to keep your CV short. So maybe things that you did in 2000, you will not include in details, but if you think they're relevant, you can include them in this table. And other positions held, this is maybe for somebody who has like maybe say 1 year of experience, but you have held other positions, let's say at your school clubs or debate or Rotary or different places. And then this is the detailed experience now where you talk about everything, but again, remember you keep it relevant. You can either use a table or you can use, you can just do the wording. You just put the position, the organization, and the roles and responsibilities, and these are the referees that you use. Can I go ahead and show poor CVs? Just so that you, just quickly.
Yes, just in a minute, just highlight that so that people understand what we're talking about.
So this section is showing about CV. First of all, the space, there is too much spacing. They are bolding where it's not needed. They're putting their high school and junior school. They could put university and masters. The employment just looks very plain. You see, this person probably has experience, but it's too plain. There are no responsibilities. The way it's written, it's not in a good way. They put interests, and the way they write their references is not a correct manner. This is another example. If you compare with what we showed you before, you can see that this isn't the same as it. You need to have a date here, including on top of the position and the organization. Okay, and then some people tend to give this. You need to bold these, the main sections. So I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Vivian, for that.
Right.
This has been a very wonderful session. And just if you missed it or you found the session is halfway, this is a recorded session. It's going to stay on our Skills Rwanda YouTube page. So if you go to Skills Rwanda, if you go to YouTube, just type in Skills Rwanda and you'll be directed to our Skills Rwanda YouTube channel. And you can watch this recording as well as on Facebook. If you joined us on Facebook, you will still be able to access this. It will be there. It will stay there for you to watch it, learn, be excited, make the best of your career advancement. And we can't wait to see you not next Thursday, the other Thursday. On Thursday, on the 29th, we'll be talking about cover letter writing. And this is just to complement your journey. We want you to be the best, make the best of yourself. A recruiter somewhere out there is looking for you, and you need to express yourself in a way that it's easy for them to find you. It's really important. Make yourself visible, make yourself found, make it easy for someone to contact you, to reach out to you. Have your CV ready. Let it be consistent. I think that's what we learned today. Make sure your format is consistent. Keep it precise. No 8 pages, please. No. Make it 2, 3, maximum 4 if you are a consultant and an expert. So with that, I think we're concluding. Anyone with any conclusive remarks, I would like to thank you so much, our panelists. You've been wonderful. You've given us very insightful things to think about and to work with. And I want to welcome you to give your conclusive remarks and anything else you want to share with the audience.
Okay. My final remarks, if you haven't learned anything today, please at least make sure that you learn to keep it relevant, precise, and keep it short, and keep it uniform. At least take those 4. and use them, as well as visit our website, nftconsult.com. We usually have different opportunities for candidates, and if you are a recruiter, we're also here for you. Thank you very much for everyone who came in.
Thank you. Remember, you don't forget that opportunity. Check out nftconsults.com. They always have different opportunities. They can help you in writing the best of the CV. So don't miss out. Don't say I didn't tell you, because I've done my best. And if we can hear from Rose, any conclusive remarks, please?
Thank you, Lydia. So I will just say a good CV gives you more chance to be seen by employers. So this is your time to shine. This is your time to sell yourself. So take that opportunity, because the CV talks before they see you.
Sure.
So be the one in a million.
Absolutely. Yes. No, but do you have anything to add to that as we conclude?
Yeah, no, just from my side, I just want to thank the panelists, especially, first of all. You guys were great. Even I learned quite a bit from your presentations. They were very well done. And I think it was clear and concise, and as Vivian likes to say, relevant. So that was very good. And I'd like to just thank everybody that joined us from America, from England, from Asia, from Rwanda, from Huye. And thank you very much. And we look forward to more sessions like this. This is just the beginning, and we're off to a great start. Thank you very much. And Lydia, of course, what a great host you were. You keep the energy going, and let's
Good
keep
job
it up.
To the host.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, team.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you so much. Keep the comments coming, because I'll go back and read them. And if there's any question that you did get, I'll absolutely find a solution. So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We love you, and we hope we'll see you the other Thursday, April 29th, and we'll be talking about cover letter writing. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you.